Welcome to your Road to Homeownership podcast. I'm Anthony Rehos, and I'm here with Frank Ungaro. He's a real estate agent at Metro Roberts Realty. He's also a flipper. He's also an investor. He does it all. Welcome, Frank.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Before we go into, learning about flipping and investing in real estate, let's talk about a little bit how you got into real estate.
Well, I got into real estate in 2005 or 6 when I was living in Colorado. I was going to school at the time, and, life happens.
Yeah.
Found out that I was going to be starting a family, and I thought, well, I probably cannot continue on the path of school. I was going to be like an English lit major or something like that. So took my real estate classes, and out there everybody has to be a broker. So it's pretty, it was 168 hours, 10 weeks, Monday through Thursday from like 6 to 10. And then you have to pass a national broker exam along with the Colorado broker exam. Okay. And did that, started with Keller Williams, and I was with Keller Williams the whole time I was out in Colorado until I moved back to Buffalo.
So when you came to Buffalo, did you join Metro Roberts right away?
No, I took a break. I ended up coming back here. I opened up a call center, collection agency that I owned for like 7 or 8 years.
Wow.
And then I got back into real estate right around 2019. Now, I was investing throughout that time and always had like one toe in the water as far as real estate goes.
Yeah.
But I started doing real estate again full time in like 2019.
Okay, so what brought you to Metro Roberts?
Well, I started at Hunt.
Yeah.
Guy that I did some business with was a Hunt agent. I talked to him. He was he was happy he's still over there. And then I started at the Hamburg office, met Neil, and not soon after that, Neil left. Went to Metro. He was just gone one day. I was like, what happened? Nobody really wanted to talk about it over at Hunt. Found out that he took off, and I reached out to him maybe sometime after that, a couple months or something like that. I ended up sitting down talking to Jim, and Neil and Jim kind of just sold me on Metro.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. One of the reasons why I did come over to Metro is because I wanted to get into flipping and more investing aspect of like turning over property as opposed to just buying and holding. So, when I sat down and met Jim, he was just like, this is what I do. He came, he break down everything. And the fact that he was willing to meet with me, and we'll say this about Jim, like when I first met him, he didn't know me. I was just another agent, but the guy's never not picked up my phone call ever.
Yeah.
If he doesn't answer, he's going to call you back. Super accessible. So, I owe a lot to him as far as that goes and like getting into it. I buy houses from Jim, and he's been pretty helpful.
How did you get into flipping? Tell me about that, because I hear that all the time, and it seems overwhelming to me. As someone who's maybe thinking about it. How did you first get into that?
I just decided to pull the trigger, man.
Yeah, no fear.
I was. For me, the main hurdle was like capital, right? Like what you need to get into it. I was always like, most of these houses you have to buy with cash because, somebody might not underwrite the loan for them. They might not be eligible for a conventional loan. Yeah. Don't want to do like a rehab loan. So to me, it was like the money, having the capital to do it. And I was always like, well, you got to buy it and you got to come up with it. And then private money was introduced to me through Jim and through going to, Western New York real estate investors meetings.
Oh, yeah.
So once I was able to kind of wrap my head around that and like realize that it wasn't a giant hurdle to get into and you weren't getting pounded with fees from people as far as like interest and stuff like that goes, then I was like, okay, I can do this. And the first one that I did when I came back to Buffalo, because I did a couple of them in Colorado, but that was with friends and groups, and that was a little bit easier. So the first one that I got into, I was calling some contractor friends of mine. I was trying to get somebody to come in on it with me because I just did not feel comfortable like, hey man, I'm gonna have to find. I can't do everything myself, nor do I know how to do everything. Yeah. And I was driving back from there, and I was just like, screw it, man, I'm doing it. And then I made that decision to do it on my own and just kind of take that leap. And it was a great decision that I made.
So how was that first flip then?
It was. There was a lot.
Okay.
There was a lot to it. It was poured concrete foundation. It was over by the airport. It was on Broad Street, and literally it's a cape. The whole basement wall, from corners, the back corners, along the back wall was a horizontal crack, and I'm telling you, there was like a couple inches of silt on the floor from water pouring in throughout the years.
Wow.
And it was just like.
That was your first flip?
That was my first flip.
So you just went right in, head in?
I went right in. It was a mess in there. Fridge was still filled with, all types of food and, pickled eggs that were 30 years old, stacked in the back of the fridge. So it was, that was my first one. There was a lot to it. And I redid all of that. Learned a lot from pulling permits in the town of Cheektowaga as far as plumbing permits go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned some lessons.
So what are some of the lessons you learned that you can maybe pass them on? That you say this is something that you have to do on your first flip.
I think. Well, yeah. I mean, your first thing that you have to do on your first flip is make the commitment to go do it, right, and take that leap to do it. I would say the thing that you really should do is demo and prep, and try and get a system in place to not do things out of order, because time is money.
Yeah.
Make sure that you have the best that you can do as far as supplies and things that you need. Now, if you're going to do the work on your own, that's a little bit different. I do some of the work on my own, but I basically act as the GC on the job.
Yeah.
So if you're able to get that stuff there, make sure that your guys don't have to run to Home Depot 5 times a day, and there's nothing there to slow them down. That's what I would do. So I think demo prep, super important, and really put a plan and a budget in place and try and stick to that to the best that you're able to do, because things are going to pop up.
So when you say put a plan in place and a budget, when you put the plan in place and you put a budget in place, I know sometimes you kind of go over budget.
Oh, yeah. Every time.
Every time. What does that percentage look like? You've done quite a bit of them. So if someone's brand new and they put a budget for X amount, how much more do you think?
You want to be all in with your your after repair value is what that house is going to be worth when you're done doing everything to it, right? Or what you can list it for.
Okay.
Let's just keep it simple. Let's say it's a $200,000, right? You want your purchase of the property and the money that you put into it to be right around 150. You want to be at that 75% of loan to value.
Okay.
Because things are going to pop up. Now, the market's crazy. Yeah. It might sell for $250,000.
Sure.
But that's not going to happen every time. There's going to be a time when you do a flip and you get one offer and it's a low ball offer. And you have to move on. Especially if you're using private money, because that'll beat you up even more. Yeah. So you really should try and stick to that. And like I said, things pop up, shit happens. What are you going to do?
How long a typical flip would probably take?
The last one that I just did, that I just put on the market on Tuesday, I closed on that on January 24th, and I put it on the market June 24th. So that literally took me 6 months, but that was the longest one that I've ever done.
Why was it so long?
Just everything, man.
Everything
I filled up six 30-yard dumpsters for this thing.
Wow.
And I had to there was just a lot of extra stuff that I ended up having to do on it. And it was just a lot of plaster and laths, so none of the walls were straight. You would get in to do something, and then it would just, hey, we have to do this, and we have to do this to try and make it right. You want to do these things. You're putting your money into it, and part of it is you're taking something that's beat up and run down, and you're giving it new life. Yeah. So you're hoping the house was built in 1940. You're hoping that it's 85 years old, right? That when you get done with it, somebody can move their family in there and live in there for the next 30, 40 years before it needs another major
So you want
rehab.
to make sure you want to do it right.
Yeah, for sure.
So that one took you 6 months.
That took me 6 months. I've turned them around in as little as like 8 weeks.
Oh.
8 to 12 weeks.
Okay, so I would say 2 to 3 months.
Yep.
At average, it will take. And if someone's going in for hard money lending, right, the interest rates are typically a little bit higher, so you kind of have to factor that cost into your budget as well, right?
Yeah, and even if you're using your own money, like I use home equity line of credit that I have.
Absolutely.
Even if you're doing that, you're paying interest only on those things. So you have to take that into consideration. And one of the other things that I would suggest somebody does is keep really, really good records.
Yeah, why?
Because you want to be able to write off everything that you could write off on the house. I mean, you don't want the tax man taking your money.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to keep track of that and do the proper write-offs. Plus, if you don't really know what you're making and you don't know what your costs are, you can't improve.
Can't, yeah.
Right? You can't get more efficient
Yeah.
on items because you're just not keeping track of it. So really keep good records.
What kind of properties you look for? So if I'm brand new, I identify I want to get a flip. Like, I have a little bit extra cash. I want to jump into this.
I look for single-family homes.
Okay.
Because, I would consider doing doubles, and I've looked at them before, but I like single family. You're not redoing 2 kitchens. You're not putting in 2 sets of mechanics. Not 2 hot water heaters, not 2 boilers or 2 furnaces. At a bare minimum, you're doing 2 kitchens and 2 bathrooms. So it's just cost goes up.
How do you find most of those deals then? So it doesn't make sense for someone who's going to flip something to find something on market, right?
Well, I don't know. It depends because there's deals out there to be found on market. Like I know a friend of mine I went to high school with. She's a hunt agent. She flips houses. She finds houses in Angola, and she finds a lot of them on market. And they do all the work themselves. They don't contract any of it out.
Yeah.
But she's like, I would just keep buying houses in Angola. So you can find them on market, but this market's so crazy right now that people are paying,
top dollar.
What I think is insane for places that are not worth that. So as a flipper, it makes it a little more difficult. But, Jim, I'll get houses from Jim. I will look for houses that are behind on their taxes. I use PropStream.
What's PropStream?
PropStream is just like a website that allows you to see, how much they owe on their loans, if they're behind on loans, if it's in foreclosure, and it has skip tracing tools, so you're able to kind of track some of these people down and start, asking them if they want to sell their house. I also drive around and look for places that are pretty run down.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how do you balance being a real estate agent, a flipper, and an investor?
Sometimes it's hard. You got to wear a lot of different hats. And you're jumping around a lot. And, sometimes it's probably not the most efficient use of your time because you're constantly, you lose a little bit of efficiency when you're, jumping from job to job.
Yeah.
But, just make it work.
Yeah. Is it a good time to start flipping today?
I think it's always a good time.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got into real estate in like 2005, 2006. So like, my first go around, like we had the financial crisis.
Oh yeah.
That was like right there, right? Immediately after I got into it, and leading up to that, everybody was like, "Oh, this is the greatest thing in the world," right?
Yeah.
And then when I got back into it again, it was like the COVID hit right away. But when you look at it and you zoom out, you realize that the prices just go up on housing. And I can't tell you how many times I look back and I'm like, I would consider buying this, but I don't think it's a good time. Or I've had conversations with clients. I don't know if this is the best time. But like I said, when you zoom out and you look back, it's always a good time. So I think it's a good time to flip as well. I don't see prices coming down anytime soon. They may plateau, but I don't think that they're going to come down.
Do you think, with the prices going up, the cost of goods to rehab keeps going up?
Yeah.
Does it kind of balance itself out? in a way?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, things are expensive, and they get expensive. Labor's expensive. It's tough to get guys. Materials are super expensive.
Yeah.
But if you do a house right, and I think in this market, people are okay with like overpaying for. I wouldn't even say overpaying for something, but being super competitive in their offers, because you're going to walk into something where you don't have to do anything, right? Yeah. So like you can go buy a house and you could go more than ask, and there might be a lot of things on there that you're going to have to pay for in the future. Yeah. If you do it right and you turn something over and you're handing it off to somebody and they don't have to do anything about it and you do a good job, you should get more than what you put it on the market for.
How do you find guys to do the work? Because that's something as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, I know some people, but how do I tap into that?
I think I have an advantage because I was born and raised here, right? So even though I lived in Colorado for like 12 years, I know a lot of people here.
Yeah.
And I can go back to, and Buffalo's a pretty small place too. It's like 2 degrees of separation. Like everybody knows somebody.
Absolutely.
So as long as you can grab some people, and I just try to form good relationships with them, like I pay people on time. I don't dick around with that. Like, I'm going to pay you. I don't have a problem with that. I treat people with respect and I'm fair to them. But, I also expect the job to get done.
Yeah.
So as long as somebody's shooting straight with me and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and they do a good job, like I will go back to them. I will refer them out to people. If somebody's like, hey, I need somebody to do drywall. I got a drywaller. He's a guy I grew up next to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he'll go do that. But I try to feed these guys as much business as I can feed them. Yeah. And then I'm like, hey, I need you to squeeze me in. I need you to help me out on this. And, they reciprocate that.
Have you ever fired somebody?
No, but there's been times where, you're like, hey, if that happens again, I don't think we're going to be working together. I mean, there's guys that I won't work with anymore, but I haven't, because they don't really work for me. Yeah. They're doing a job, but they're working for themselves.
So to kind of recap everything, if I'm going to go into flipping, plan ahead. Number one.
Yeah.
Get a network of people that you could trust.
Mm-hmm.
What's one piece of advice that you could give somebody that say, I want to do this?
Flipping?
Yeah, I'm going to get to flipping.
Be prepared.
Just be prepared.
For stuff to pop up that you're not ready for. I mean, there's always, if you think that you're going to stick to a budget, if you think that something's not going to pop up,
it's not going to be like that.
Yeah, and you have to have a certain level of like risk tolerance too.
No, that's
you have to be able to do that.
Yeah. I think that's anything in life, right? Anything you jump into, you have to have a little bit of risk factor. You have to jump in, and as long as I have a plan, I'm going to jump in there. And what's the worst thing that could happen?
Right, and you lose.
Yeah, that's it. You just learn from it.
Yeah, and I have a pretty high risk tolerance. Like, at the end of the day, what's going to happen? You don't make money. Well, people get up every day and they do stuff where it doesn't work out for them. So like, you're going to make money on some, you're not going to make money on others, but you try to win a lot more than you lose.
You having fun?
Yeah, oh yeah.
We're wrapping up. This is ready for some fun 5 questions.
Sure.
Ready? Okay, ready?
All right.
So what is your hype song before a flip or a showing?
I don't know if I have one, man. Like, I swear,
what are you
man, I don't.
In the car right now?
I listened to I was listening to a Bitcoin podcast on my way over here. But,
okay, yeah, I got you.
It depends. I mean, I listen to everything from like hip hop to like Grateful Dead and all that stuff. So it just depends on what kind of mood.
Just the mood you're in. Okay. Yeah. All right. What is the strangest thing you found during a walkthrough?
Strangest? Oh, bongs. Bongs. Yeah, I did a walkthrough and there was a couple glass bongs in the basement. Nothing crazy. I mean, that's not crazy, but especially now. But yeah, in Colorado, used to walk through like where you would know somebody had a grow room set up in the space because that was just part of the culture out there and like underground before before it became legal. So
Now
you'd be
it's
like,
legal.
oh, somebody's growing weed down here.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Flats or drums, and what's your best place for wings in Buffalo?
I used to be a drum only guy. Like I would always dig in for the drums. I'm starting to switch over to the flats a little bit now, I think with age.
Less teeth.
Yeah. Well, no, I have all my teeth, but I kind of appreciate them a little bit more now.
Yeah.
But I think 9/11 or like Barbell out in East Aurora. Those are my two like favorite.
What's the first one again?
9/11.
What is it? Where is that?
That's on South. It's off of South Park, like right before you get to Tift, in South Buffalo.
Okay, I have to check that place
Oh,
out.
they're awesome.
All right, we're there. All right, so if you had to flip a haunted house or a hoarder's house, what would you do?
Hoarders.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would imagine a haunted house.
And it's weird sometimes. You're in there by yourself. It's like 9:00 at night. I don't want to have to worry about a house being haunted. But I'll tell you what, I find, and I never want to throw the stuff out. All the houses I get into, there's like crucifixes in there. There was a painting of the Last Supper, and I never want to throw that stuff in the dumpster. I'm not like super religious, but I'm always like,
you want to get the bad.
well, you just like just in case,
Just in
right?
case,
Just
yeah.
in case. So, I'll put those things up. Maybe sometimes I'll leave them in the house. I'll put them up in the attic or something like that, so they stay in there.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, last question. What is something that people don't know about you?
I mean, like as far as,
Anything.
oh man, I don't know.
You play the clarinet.
No, I do not. I do not play the clarinet. I did cannabis consulting for a number of years.
Okay.
Recently, a couple of years ago, I was doing it pretty heavily.
Okay.
Coming out of COVID, and as that was coming online for New York State.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. How do people get a hold of you?
They can reach me by phone.
Yeah.
970-218-2465. I do have an Instagram account, which I can't tell you what that is offhand. And you can search me on Facebook.
All right, man. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Take care.
All right.